Hello, and welcome to the Wayward Skein. This is episode 48, and today is Sunday, July 21st. Probably should have checked the date before I did that. Anyway, I'm Lynn. I'm your host. I'm also known as Toll Baby pretty much everywhere on the internet. I'm on Ravelry, Instagram, Etsy. I sort of Twitter. I Twitter like show episodes. That's about it. I find Twitter really too much. Like, I find it too fast paced and I can't follow it. I have trouble following Facebook sometimes. So, anyway, that's me. I'm actually getting to record midday on a Sunday, which is unusual. But my older one is asleep. My younger one isn't here. So, abnormally quiet morning. And the house has finally reached a temperature that is bearable, so I can turn the AC off for a few minutes to record, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to hear me. That's been a big problem so far this week, is that it's been so hot. Last night, I think I didn't get to bed till like 2 o'clock in the morning because it was just too hot to face going into my bedroom. This is the only air conditioner we have. It's a good little beast. But it's only 9,000 BTU, and right now it's trying to cool a space that is probably 20 by 15. It's my kitchen, dining room, and living room that it's trying to cool, and it can't quite keep up. It couldn't keep up yesterday. Yesterday went up to 35 centigrade, which is 92-ish, I think. But with the Humidex, it was 45. It felt like 45 degrees, which is 110 Fahrenheit. It was hot, and we were miserable. I don't think we managed to get it down past 90 in the house at any point until about 2 o'clock in the morning, when it started to cool down. There were rainstorms south of us, but sadly they didn't make it here. So while it was nice and cool in Ottawa in the afternoon, because we actually went out for dinner because it was too hot to even contemplate turning on the stove or even microwaving. I haven't made tea in almost a week because it's too hot to think of boiling the kettle, even just to make iced tea. It's one of those, no, we're not doing that. So it's been hot. It's been awful. We have not been happy. I don't do well in heat to begin with. So having it so pervasively, oppressively hot like that is too much for me. Some of my friends are reveling in this. They're having a great old time. And one of the kids that I work with at the store, he's like cliff diving and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. He's having a great old time, at least based on his Instagram pictures, or his Facebook pictures, I mean. But I'm just sitting here going, when is it going to be over? I'm very thankful that we only get 2 months of real summer, because I don't think I could handle more. And I feel really bad for my friends in Alaska right now who have been seeing, 85, 88, 90. They're not used to this, and this is not okay. I posted on Facebook last night around 1:30 in the morning. It's so hot. We are not okay. I don't have central air. I haven't lived with central air since I was 17 and I moved out of my parents' house. I'm very, very hopeful that this will be my last summer without central air. Next year, Rob is moving up, and that is one of my absolute must-haves for anywhere we move. We need 2 toilets, and we need air conditioning. I am pretty flexible on just about everything else. But yeah, I need my air conditioning because I can't live like this. For those of you, I've gotten some snarky comments on the last couple of episodes about me being too fat, and maybe that's why I can't handle heat, which I thought was kind of funny, because I know lots of fat people who love the heat, and I know lots of skinny people who hate it. So, but in my particular case, the problem comes with low blood pressure. I have chronic low blood pressure, and I'm anemic. And back when I was a teenager and I was skinny and you could count my ribs, I used to pass out from the heat. So it's not because I'm fat, jerks. It was 2 people. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Um, I'm not concerned about the 2 people who are like, well, maybe if you lost some of that lard you're carrying around. You know what? If it was that easy, I would have. But on that note, my daughter and I went to the gym. Not this week. We went the week before I went to Chicago. We went and we did legs. And then I was away for several days, and we did a lot of walking on the days when it was possible because it was hot down there too. They actually got a heat wave the day after I left, so I'm very thankful I left when I did because Rob's car doesn't have air conditioning, and his son's car has, well, his son's second car, he bought himself a new car, and they're just hanging on to the second one right now until Rob can get himself a new car because his car is on its last legs. So I got to drive the second car around while I was there, and it has sporadic air conditioning. So I would not have been happy staying there during a heat wave because I would have been confined to the house. Rob thankfully has central air and lets me set it to whatever the heck I want. But honestly, people, my hair has not been dry underneath here for 3 weeks. Right now it's as close to dry as it's been. And that was after a horrendous day and night yesterday. So I wash my hair and it never dries. And 3 days later, it's still not dry. And Rob was like, well, we have a hair dryer. And I'm like, if you think I want to put heat in here right now. Anyway, long story short, I'm back from Chicago. I wish I was still there. Well, not really because hot, but at least there was central air and there was Rob. So that's always a plus. I did go to his teacher's Bastille Day party, which was amusing. It's more a celebration of her Francophile nature on Bastille Day than anything else. But she's a lovely lady. She's been teaching for, I think she was saying about 35 years. And so she teaches at College of Lake County, and she teaches at another college as well. I don't know the name of it. And she also does, she was doing supply teaching as well for a little while. And so she's a busy lady. And she's passionate. She loves teaching, loves it. And she's just a fantastic lady, and we have a lot in common. And so we had a lot of fun chatting. Her husband is into model cars and trains and stuff like that. So he and Rob disappeared down the basement after everybody else left. So she was like, we should get ourselves a drink and find somewhere comfortable to sit because they're going to be a while. And they were. So it was a really fun trip, and we got a little teeny bit of the bathroom primed, at least, not painted. But I did, I don't know if you guys saw that Instagram picture of me with the hazardous chemical gear. I did manage to get the glue off the wall, and we managed to make sure that it was all flat and stuff, and we painted over it, and it's all great now. So the hazardous chemical gear came in handy. It was great. So, yep, this week has been pretty quiet. I got back on Wednesday, so Wednesday night I worked at the store. Thursday, I went into the office, and Friday my boss was off, so it was super quiet. And there was no staff, so it was like everybody was off on Friday. So it was a very quiet week, and yesterday was just spent sweating. I took my daughter over to meet up with her uncle on her biological mom's side, and so she stayed overnight there. And I'm supposed to go get her in about an hour. And then I went to work at the store, and I was overheating at the store, and then I went outside. One of the most important things for me is to stay hydrated, like really, really, really well hydrated. And so I tend to, I bought this while I was in the States at Trader Joe's. Sorry, I'm just going to make it pop. So this is sparkling raspberry lime water. It was sparkling raspberry lime water on the train ride. Now it's just regular water. But yeah, I have to drink 2 or 3 of these a day, like just plain water. But 2 or 3 liters of water a day just to be able to handle the heat. And quite frankly, everybody should be staying hydrated in this heat. But it's especially important for me because I will just like fall down, which is very embarrassing. The last time it happened to me, just to show how weird this overheating problem is, the last time it happened to me was February, not this past February, a couple of years ago. And I was at a protest and it was minus 20 degrees outside, which is damn cold. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. Sorry. It's something like minus 10, minus 12 in Fahrenheit. The scales meet up at minus 40. So I'm not sure what minus 20 Celsius is in Fahrenheit. But it was minus 20 and it was damn cold. And we were surrounding the U.S. Embassy. It was the Women's March right after he got elected. And so I attended this protest. And so it's minus 20 and we're marching around and doing our thing. And all of a sudden, I passed from shade to full sun. And within 5 minutes, I was passed out on the ground. Because I was wearing my big winter coat, which I don't normally wear. I don't wear it very often in the wintertime because I get too hot. And because I'm a weirdo. I'm always hot, always. So I was with my friend Mike. And I was like, nope. Because he was like, are you okay? And I was like, mm-mm. And he was like, what do you need me to do? I said, take my coat off, take my coat off, take my coat off, take my coat off. And there was a cop standing there and he was like, is she okay? And Mike knows the situation. And he was just like, we're good. Just need to get undressed. And the cop is like, are you sure? Mm-hmm. So minus 20 in February. And I'm like ripping my winter coat off so that I don't fall on the ground at this protest. It was a very near thing. It's a weird sensation. Your vision sort of like grays out and you feel like you're either going to throw up or pass out. For me, that's the same sensation before each. The only way I know that I'm going to pass out and not throw up is that there's no stomach pain or cramping associated with it. So that's way too much information for you guys. I'm very sorry. This is a podcast about knitting. And I have done some knitting this week. So how about we just skip over the rest of the TMI and just get into that. Sorry. So I have only worked on one thing this week, and I am a little bit ashamed, but it's a test knit, and it has a very short deadline, so I have been working my butt off on this. I think this is the right side. Pretty sure it's the right side. Oh, it's showing up the nice burgundy, brownish burgundy this time instead of the weird color it was showing up last week. So, hey, it matches my cabinet, my very messy cabinet. You can't see the top 3 shelves are very, very well organized. This one, not so much. And that's my printer on the bottom shelf. So this is the Yorkville Sweater by Nina Phillip, who is the knitting expat. And so this is a test knit for her. It matches the patterning on her Yorkville sock and her Yorkville hat. So this is the back. I have just started the armhole shaping in the back, which means that I'm way behind and I need to get my butt moving on this because this is due beginning of September. It's the end of July. Well, it's the middle of July. So I really need to motor on this so that I can get it done. It is a fairly quick knit so far. It's done in DK. I'm using a thick sport weight, so so far I've got gauge and it's working. So I'm gonna keep going with this because I happen to have it in my stash and I didn't have a lot of money to buy new yarn right now. So I thought I was gonna try striping it with some DK I had, but the DK was actually thinner than the sport weight. It was a nylon acrylic and I think it was Barocco Comfort DK. And so the strands were actually thinner than this wool, which is Knit Picks wool of the Andes Sport. And it's gorgeous to knit with. The stitch definition is beautiful. I love the way this pattern is coming out. And this yarn is such a very complex color. In different lights, you can see how different it is. It is overall a brownish burgundy, but it has flecks of green, and it has flecks of brown, and it has flecks of orange, and like, it's really, really nice yarn. The colorway is Merlot Heather. And I have something like 18 balls of it, so I have more than enough to do the sweater. And we'll see how the sweater fits me at the end, and whether or not I can actually ever wear a sweater. I'm really hoping that I can when it gets cold enough, because this is really cute. If you've seen her Instagram, she posted a picture of the sweater she knit herself, and it's really, really pretty. So I'm really hoping that I'm able to wear this at some point. And this is done on a 4mm needle, which is the US 6. The pattern also calls for a 5mm, but I have not been called upon to use it yet, so I'm not sure when that will happen. But so yeah, this is a test knit, and it's not a secret because, as I said, she already posted the finished product on Instagram, so she told us that we could go ahead and post pictures in our blogs and so on and so forth. So that's what I'm working on right now. The sock has seen no love since I got home. None. I've been feeling ridiculously jet lagged since I got home, but that's only because it's an overnight train to get to and from Chicago. So you leave Chicago late at night and you arrive in Syracuse mid-morning, and I did not get a lot of sleep on that train. My seatmate might argue that. But so I didn't get a lot of sleep, and I feel like I've been trying to play catch up ever since, and I haven't been sleeping well here because of the heat. Last night wasn't too bad once it cooled down enough for me to go to bed, but the night before was miserable. I felt like I was drowning in a waterbed. Unfortunately, I bought myself a set of sheets thinking they were bamboo. They were not. They were polyester. The company was called Bamboo. What kind of tomfoolery is that? So I've been sleeping on these stupid polyester sheets because I'm at least going to get a couple of weeks worth of wear out of them before I get rid of them. And I would burn them in a bonfire, but that would cause pollution. So they're horrible, and I hate polyester, and I will be going back to my cotton sheets tonight, which will hopefully be cooler than the bamboo polyester sheets. That should be illegal. Honestly, it really should. That's misrepresentation. Because it only said 100% polyester in very, very, very tiny print if you flipped the package over and looked at the bottom of it. The whole rest of the package, bamboo, was in really big letters all over the place. So I think that's dishonest. So there. So anyway, that's all the knitting I've gotten done. I did get to go and see Spider-Man Far From Home last week, which I told you guys about in last week's episode. This week, Netflix added Spider-Man Into the Multiverse on their streaming service. So I watched that, and it was awesome. So awesome. I loved it. And I recognized a lot of the voice actors, so I was super happy about that. And they had some really, really good ones. And I highly recommend seeing it if you haven't already. They just added it this past week. They also added the new season of Stranger Things, which I did not rip through because I didn't watch any of it while I was in the States. But as soon as I got back, I watched it. And not yesterday, but the day before, Friday night, I was really tempted because they came out with season 4 of Queer Eye. I didn't think I was ready for it because I had had a rough day at work, and I had a headache, and I was just miserable, and it's Shark Week, so I was hormonal, and I was just like, I don't think I can face watching an episode of Queer Eye because I'll just end up ugly crying all over the place, and I can't handle that right now. So instead, I watched an episode of Stranger Things. It happened to be the season finale. Any of you who have watched it will know that I spent the rest of the evening ugly crying anyway. So that was a bad plan on my part, but I managed to finish it, and it was so good. Um, it bothers me a little bit that Carrie Elways is so good at playing scoundrels, because I love him to death. I really do. I adore him. He is the nicest man. I've never met him, but I do follow him on Facebook, and he's really nice, and he's very engaging with people who follow him, and he's just always come across as such a nice guy. And then he plays these absolute bastards in movies, and it's so easy to hate him. And I have a lot of conflict with that because the actor is such a nice guy. So that's one that I've been having emotions about, and I had some major emotions during that last episode. There was so much ugly crying, and like full on. My son got up at one point. His computer's over here and the bathroom's over here. So every now and then he will get up and toddle off to the bathroom and then toddle back and go back to his computer, and that's pretty much his life. So at one point he got up and he made it halfway across the room, looked at me and went, "What are you watching?" With this expression like, "Why are you doing this to yourself?" And I was like, "Stranger Things." And he's like, "Idiot," and went off to the bathroom. So I was holding off on starting Queer Eye because it is such, like, my heart gets 3 sizes bigger every episode I watch. It's so amazing, and I love those boys so much. So I was saving it, and I watched the first episode last night. There was no ugly crying. I was good. The second episode today, yeah, there was crying. It wasn't ugly crying. It wasn't full on sobbing. It was just kind of like tears coming out my eyes, and actually I'm still wet. But so I didn't sob quite as much, but it was something. I've missed this so much, and I'm amazed that season 3 and 4 were released this close together. And I get the feeling it's because they realize that we need this right now with all the crap that's going on everywhere. We really need this, and I think it's kind of awesome that they are willing to ramp up production for us. Yeah. So, and I also watched Mary Poppins Returns, which was not everything I was expecting, and yet in other ways completely exceeded expectations. The actor who played Michael, I've always loved him. And they had Julie Walters, and then near the end they had Angela Lansbury, and I cried a little. I was not 100% on the casting for Mary Poppins. Didn't feel it. Lin-Manuel Miranda, on the other hand, yes. He was so good. Meryl Streep, absolutely. She was phenomenal. She always is, but she was phenomenal in this one. I really enjoyed it. It was not the original. It will never be the original, but it was pretty damn good, and I was very happy. So I enjoyed that too. It seems like the world of podcasting has sort of ground to a halt for the summer, with the exception of the Knit Girls, who are still putting out their weekly episodes. Must Love Yarn has been putting out a fair number of regular episodes. Most of the bigger podcasts have been keeping up, but a lot of the smaller ones seem to have sort of broken for the summer. And I wonder if for some of them, if maybe the problem is the same one I have, where the AC is just too loud. But so I haven't had a lot of podcast viewing going on. Selma did post a new episode, I think last week, which I have not yet caught up on. Honestly, my podcast watching time at work has lately been consumed with homework. With my math class and my English class, I've been working on getting ahead a little bit. So that's been going well, and I've been very much enjoying the classes. Reading, I have not picked anything up since I finished this piece of garbage. I couldn't remember what it was called last night. That's how memorable this book was. It's Deadly Whispers by Ted Schwartz. I can absolutely not recommend it in the slightest. Apparently, there was a TV movie starring Ted Danson. This came out before that. Um, where Ted Danson, Ted Danson. Wow, Tony Danza, not Ted Danson. Tony Danza. Sorry, sitcom stars of the 80s. Tony Danza plays this guy who is Tom Bonnie. Yeah, I don't even remember the guy's name anymore, and I just finished the book last week, so I will be putting this in a free library and never thinking about it again because it was awful. I didn't enjoy the book. I didn't enjoy the author's writing style. I felt like the book was just written to capitalize on a weird case with major biases in place and absolutely no new information given, no speculation given, just I thought it was a worthless book. So I have been dying to reread the Harry Potter series, but my copies are still packed away in boxes. I've lived here 4 years. My problem is that I have far more books than I have space for books. So my daughter's copies are on her bookshelf. I believe my son's copies may be on his bookshelf as well, but mine are still packed away. And I'm weird about books. I will fully admit I'm weird about books. I want to read mine. And I don't want anybody else reading mine. I will let Rob read mine, but not the kids. Not the younger kid. She's a little bit destructive. And not really caring where she puts things, and things get damaged and destroyed. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I have not yet picked up another book. My problem right now is that I have so many books to read that I don't want to bring with me, that I'm feeling this, it's a stumbling block. I feel overwhelmed at the number of choices I have, and I don't know which direction to go. So there we go. What I should do is go through my book catalog, because I do have, of course, I have a book catalog. I'm a library nerd. Of course I have a book catalog. What I should do is go through it and prioritize the stuff that I want to read and get rid of. And start, like, make myself a list and put the books at the top of the list together somewhere so that I can find them easily. And yeah, I should do that. That's one of those organizational things I should do. So maybe I will do that tomorrow. And I'm hoping to hit the gym tomorrow. I would do, well, maybe I will tonight anyway if my son doesn't come to my mom's with me. Because my daughter and I have memberships to the gym. My son is not yet interested. Interested, but not yet at a point where he's comfortable going. So, which is fine. There are anxiety issues at play. And apparently I need to buy some new ant traps because I'm watching an ant cross across all my kitchen floor. It's one of the crappy parts of living in a basement. All the bugs come up the drain. So we've actually had problems with ants since we moved in here. There is a huge anthill right outside my bedroom window that we have been unsuccessful in getting rid of. And every now and then I will find little teeny ants in my house, and it bothers me immensely. So apparently I need to buy new ant traps. But you didn't need to know that. So there. I think I'm babbling incessantly at this point, and I had very little knitting to talk about. This is all I've been working on, and yesterday was way too hot, so I stopped. Today I'm going to my mom's, which is air conditioned, so I will be bringing this with me, and hopefully will not have a, well, I mean, if the kids come over, they'll be outside, so it's not that big a deal. Mom and I are planning on making this, I think it's a strawberry dessert that I found a recipe for last time I was over, and she said, yeah, we'll make it next time you're here. Okay, fine. So we're going to be doing some baking, and we're going to be hanging out, and the kids are probably going to all gravitate towards the pool, which I sadly cannot go in right now. My mom called me yesterday. She's like, I hope you guys aren't too hot. We just got out of the pool. And I was like, So now that it has reached a reasonable temperature, I don't know what it's like outside, but it's finally cooled down enough in here that the air conditioning actually dropped a little bit this morning, like it went to fan. for a couple of hours, which was really nice. So I'm very thankful that whatever was going on yesterday is not going on today. And I think I'm going to spend my day knitting and hanging out with my parents. And yeah, so, and maybe Sky and I will hit the gym on the way home if Zach decides not to come with us. So there we are. And I'm so sorry. Wow, I'm a bad mom. Erin and I will go to the gym. Sorry. My daughter is non-binary and chooses to be called Erin, and it slips my mind all the damn time, and I keep trying, and apparently I'm failing. So Erin and I will go to the gym tonight if Zachary decides not to come with us, and that will be all for this week. I hope that you all have a fabulous week and that everybody is surviving in this awful weather. I'm the only person who calls nice sunny days in the summertime awful weather, probably. But there we are. For me, it's terrible. So I hope you all have a fabulous week. Be kind to one another. Please, 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 please be kind to one another. There are terrible things happening right now, and we need to remember that we're all human beings deserving of respect and kindness. So please treat each other with respect and kindness, and I will see you all next week. And hopefully we'll have something more than a little bit of sweater progress to show you.